When looking at buttons for your project, you may come across two different kinds. There's one kind that has holes in it, may have 2 holes, or in this case 4, and then you have what's called a shank button. A shank button on the back has a little post with a hole in it, and that is where your thread and needle would go to attach your button to your project. In our case, we're going to be using just a 4-hole button or a 2-hole button, so that's the kind that you need to pick for your project. To sew a button onto a piece of fabric, you're going to use regular thread. So I've threaded a needle here using the double threading technique that we've done in class, and of course I have a knot tied at the end so that it doesn't pull through my fabric. To sew a button onto your project, you're going to come up from the back of your button through one of the holes. Sometimes it's hard to do the first try. You're going to try to bring your needle up and you're going to end up poking the actual button itself. So it may take a few tries to come up through one of the actual holes. But you bring your needle up, pull it till the knot catches. Then you're going to travel to the hole that's diagonal from the original one that you brought it up from, and you're going to bring your needle back down through that hole to make your first stitch. We're going to repeat that same stitch 5 times. So I'm going to come up through the first hole, and back down through the second hole. Up through the first hole, and back down through the second hole. And that's 3 times here. I'm going to do it 5 times just to make sure my stitching is really tight. We don't want our buttons to be loose, which is why we do it 5 times. So repeating the same stitch 5 times through the same 2 holes. Now I've got that done 5 times one direction. We're going to go the other direction. So I'll bring my needle up through one of the holes that I haven't used yet, and then again it goes down through the diagonal hole. So now we're making an X, and I'm going to repeat that same stitch 5 times as well to make it nice and secure. So that's 3. 4. And 5. So now I've got my nice secure button. To tie it off, we're going to flip it over, and you're going to tie it the same way you did your straight stitch, your back stitch. You'll see a bunch of threads under here. You simply slide your needle under one of those threads, pull it through so you have your loop, and then you bring your needle up through the center of the loop to tie it off. Take your scissors, cut your threads, and now you have a nice secure button that's nice and tight on your project.